How's it going, everyone? This is Jay from Keyboard Gaming. Rust is one of my favorite games that's changed quite a lot over the years. My friends and I have had a ton of great and also not so great moments playing it together, but we really can only play it for a couple weeks at a time before we get completely burnt out. As new updates were released, Rust has honestly become a full-time job if you want to get far in it. Facepunch also released a mobile app so that you can monitor your security cameras on the go. There have been a ton of changes that I honestly hate that I think have made the game more tedious and more grindy, but I honestly think that Rust is still worth playing even today. I see people online saying that the glory days of Rust are behind us, but the game is still as popular as ever. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me, but here are my opinions on why I think Rust is still a great game that's definitely worth your time. Number 1. Rust creates a sense of community. Out of all the multiplayer games I've ever played, Rust has surprisingly brought me the most meaningful interactions with other players. What usually ends up happening is my group and I will make a truce with a close neighbor, and over time we slowly gain each other's trust. A few people even joined our Discord and we talk to them on a regular basis, while some will just team up with us to raid the jerks of the server. The most recent time we played Rust, we became allies with every neighboring base. The rest of the server actually started calling the northern part of the map where we lived Canada, because we were so friendly with the rest of the groups up there. Well, unfortunately for some of the people down south, we weren't so nice with the players at the bottom of the map. We picked fights with annoying people in the chat, and teamed up with the other people to raid the biggest bases. Soon enough, the friendly people up north were the only ones left in the server, and we basically ruled the map. I can't think of any other game where you can slowly get to know people and trust them over the course of several weeks, but Rust gives you that ability. Unless you're playing on official servers with Zerg clans and naked spawn killing you with rocks, you have a surprisingly high number of friendly interactions. All of my friends and I have fond memories of people we met for pretty much every wipe we've played on. I get that Rust isn't about being social with people, but I found that to be one of the most fulfilling parts of the game. You never really know what type of interactions you'll have with people either. One time we raided a base of a guy who was actually a pretty cool guy, and he sat there talking to us as we blew through his walls and took all his items. Other times, we had people screaming at us and lying about how they were a solo player, to which we quickly responded to them with a bullet to the face. Number 2. Unofficial servers are great. In my opinion, the worst way to experience Rust is with the official servers. In these servers, you'll find the highest populations of players that take the game way too seriously. They make Rust their entire lives, and you and your base will quickly be wiped out if you don't do the same. Part of the reason for this is because of the upkeep system that was added a while back. The constant need to refill your base with materials makes it a necessity to constantly rejoin the game and ensure your base stays intact. Ever since this was added, I've refused to play on official servers. Unofficial and modded servers provide you with pretty much every option you can imagine. You have battlefield servers where the only purpose is to battle it out with other players. No upkeep servers or low upkeep servers, which eliminate much of the grind and bring Rust back to its roots. Target practice servers, creative mode servers, and pretty much everything else you can think of. In most games, I usually prefer the official servers, but in Rust, those servers are so toxic that I'm sure they scare away a lot of players. You might be a hardcore Rust veteran and enjoy official servers, and that's completely fine, but people who play casually can enjoy the game using the modded ones. I've personally found that unofficial servers have far friendlier people than official, which inevitably led to more meaningful social interactions. You can find servers that cater to your own personal playstyle, whether that be dramatically increased resource gathering or simply running around shooting people with guns. Number 3. The core gameplay is still amazing. There's no other game that produces the adrenaline rush that Rust provides. Dark Souls bosses are a similar experience, but nothing beats the feeling of winning a fight after feeling like you're about to lose everything. You put hours and sometimes even days of work at stake each time you log off, and the feelings of relief or anger you feel during the game are kind of impossible to describe. Players on the internet call this the Rust jitters, as the risk adds a whole level of emotion to every battle. It's not like Call of Duty where you die and respawn constantly, but instead it forces you to be vigilant in everything you do. Every gunshot ringing out in the distance is terrifying, and it will cause your heart to sink unless you have similar weaponry yourself. The battlefield servers in the game are fun, but they don't even come close to the level of risk and reward that normal Rust gameplay provides. Grinding is tedious in most games, but a lot of times in Rust it's actually satisfying, since it feels like it's worth something. I'm not saying it's fun all the time, but looking at your finished and well-protected base makes you feel like you're safe and secure. The graphics are actually surprisingly good, and the optimization has come a long way over the years. The guns are fun, and all of them feel great to use, and they feel like a valuable item whenever you have them. The maps are large and varied, and every time you join a new one, it'll feel like a new experience. Rust is really about the players you meet and how they interact with the world. Players can be either allies or enemies, friendly or hostile, and you never really know exactly what they'll be unless you get to know them. Some people will kill on sight, which gets them hated by their whole server, until some clans band together and take them out. I've seen this happen numerous times, and it's always extremely satisfying to see the annoying players fall. The gameplay of Rust has gotten tedious at times, but that of course can be changed by playing unofficial or modded servers. Facepunch has created a really great game, and Rust has brought some of my fondest gaming memories. The community is still as toxic as ever, and you'll constantly get killed, but getting a base established is extremely rewarding. So those are my 3 reasons why I think Rust is still worth playing in 2020. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and check out some of our other videos.